get there.
Okay.
I have to bring my chair up some more.
All right, we are now live. I am going to share this to um, our pages. And then Sandra, I will tag you
Yes.
as well as I'm trying to see if it will tag um, the Spreading Love and Spoken Word page as well. Okay, it looks like I'm gonna have to do this on the computer. So give me 1 sec. Oh, I see that you already shared it, Sandra, so you're good.
Oh, okay. I was wondering if I did that right. Thank you.
No problem.
Because I be having issues.
Okay, and I was actually able to tag the Spreading Love and Spoken Word page.
Cool.
So it should pop up there unless you guys have some privacy restrictions that makes you have to actually review it.
No, I don't think so.
Okay, so then as soon as I hit this send, it should actually pop up on that page as well.
Nice.
All right, and then I just have to approve on one last page and we will be able to get started. All right. Good evening, everyone. Welcome to Natural Weed Community Hour of Power. This is Akua TJ. I am so excited for today's Community Hour of Power. It is just going to be phenomenal. We typically start with a couple minutes to breathe and ground ourselves and just become on one accord in this present moment. And today we have a special treat. Our meditation will be facilitated by Miss Sandra Coleman. And so with that, go ahead.
Thank you. Thank you for having me. I would like to share something with you. It's about my favorite color. And if you want to know what my favorite color is, all you have to do is look in the mirror. You are my favorite color. My color is earth-toned African rainbow. Outer, bright, light, high yellow. Don't be fooled by fairer skin. A myriad of bronzes flows within. I be swaying a Sankofa sarong, singing Swahili soliloquies, swinging wisdom, be riding matriarchal rhythms rooted in righteous love, raised on tinted beams of life, literally limitless in liquid logic, long like the Nile, ever embracing existential epitome of self, be birthing babies on breastplate of change, brave, bold, brown, Bantu champions blossoming on beauty's barebacked wings, be wonderful warrior woman walking, wearing knowledge washed in fiery clay colors and fluent phenomenal faith flavored with sweet freedom, be softly shining on breasts of Middle Eastern gold, swimming the depths of daytime dreams, draped in sacred shades of silky sienna, gathering spiritual seeds on the Serengeti, forever seeking, reaping what I sow. My color is earth-toned African rainbow, outer illumination fused to inner glow. Don't let this freckle face fool ya. Better listen up and let a sister school ya. My multicoloredness goes back more generations than one can count. I am Mosi Oatunya, smoke that thunders. Come experience the wonder that is me. I am flowing a double S curve like the Zambezi, dancing monsoons on desert dunes, traveling back through time on thoughts that congregate like clans on the Congo, celebrating salvation on Saharan sands, I am the whispering African lilies calling ancestor, the delightful, delicate daughter of the Dogon, a diamond, and Mount Kilimanjaro is quiet keeper of red hot heat in hues from copper to cocoa. I am music of master drummers, measuring my steps in the ethereal essence of Egyptian kings and queens. I am 11,699,000 square miles of continent, coated in colors from creamy coffee, from cayenne to cold. God has blessed my soul. Oh yes, sun-kissed saffron is what you see, but an earth-toned African rainbow flows through me. Thank you.
Thank you, Ashe. Thank you. Whew. What a wonderful way to start our community hour of power with spreading love and spoken word. Again, everyone, welcome to Community Hour of Power. We are so excited. Today, we have with us Misty Muse, co-founder and co-hostess, who is a poetess, singer, songwriter, visual artist, user experience consultant for Here and Now, African Diaspora Trivia app. We also have Dr. Alice, the poet Nichols, co-founder and co-hostess, poetess, writer, Africologist, and CSUDH, go Toros, Fullerton College professor and publisher. We have Sandra Lorraine Coleman, founder and co-hostess, poetess, entrepreneur, jewelry designer, and the Dominguez alum as well. And joining us soon, hopefully, if we can get through these technical difficulties, is Victor Exman Taylor, who is the musical director. He is an artist, bassist, multi-platinum award-winning producer. And together, these four dynamic people make up Spreading Love and Spoken Words, which began on February 14th, 2000, as a weekly open mic for poetry, spoken word, music, and song. It was created with the idea that spoken word should move beyond the walls of poetry venues and be shared with the world. With roots steeped in the Lamert Park poetry scene, Sandra Lorraine Coleman, Alice the Poet Nichols, Dr. Alice the Poet Nichols, Mr. Muse, and Victor Exman Taylor would embark on a creative and spiritual journey that birthed a compilation CD, Spreading Love and Spoken Word, Volume 1, and will launch a poetic movement of love. After a 10-year hiatus, Spreading Love and Spoken Word decided to reemerge virtually, creating the same comfortable environment for artists to perform and audience members to be fed. The goal is to create a space where we can be safe, strong, and free. On February 15th through 19th, 2021, the anniversary celebration gave rise to a continuing vision to celebrate our authentic selves and uplift the community. As a monthly virtual open mic event, Spreading Love and Spoken Word is determined to give the community, artists, and audience members room to heal, grow, and love, and to just be we, unapologetically. And so with that, we welcome Spreading Love and Spoken Word. And real quick, the comments are already going. David Turner said, hey, y'all, that is my brother, David. We are so, and David, we just love you. We are so proud of you. Congratulations, Dr. Turner. Rosa Bryant also says, hi, Sandra. We just thank everyone who's watching. We look forward to a lively discussion. But Spreading Love and Spoken Word, I'm just going to open the floor and let you all introduce yourselves in your own way.
You guys go,
Okay.
since I open, go ahead. Yeah.
I knew that was coming. I was like, Sandra's gonna do it, but she did the
you knew it was
form.
gonna happen. She's
So
gonna
yeah. Well, we're introducing Spreading Love and Spoken Words. Not quite sure what more I can share with you outside of that awesome introduction, Dr. TJ, other than to say that we are definitely Lamert Park babies who have gone out into the world to spread what we all encountered in the village, artistically, culturally, and community wise. And it's been quite a ride. And we're very, very happy to be reunited again to bring forth the work that we share. I'm seeing I just got a text. I don't know what's happening. Is that for
I
you,
got it.
Sandra?
I got it.
Okay, thank you.
Mhm.
Teamwork makes the dream work here at Spreading Love and Spoken Word since 2000 and into 2021. This is definitely a team effort. And I guess I would add too that Spreading Love and Spoken Words is not just the four of us, it is the 20 some odd years of people who are attached to our venue, our artists who have come through and performed, and also the audience members who have come and supported us over the years into the present. So definitely want to include that. Alice?
Um, Dr. Alice, the poet
Dr.
Nicholas.
Alice, the poet.
um, Spread Love and Spoken Words has been around for more than 2 decades. The idea is probably about 22, 23 years old, although the program itself is 21 years old. We definitely, and we talked about this a little bit earlier about how we sharpen each other. And so there is not another group of individuals that I would want to build something like this with, because we're African centered, but we're also spirit based. And so we believe in the power of the word and the power of our message. And so one of the things that we always strive to do is to create this space, but also to remind people that there is freedom and there is liberation in the spoken word. We have to be careful of the messages that are, that we're sending out. But because we're cohesive in our message, the same audience and the same members of our community that we had 22, 23 years ago, we still have to this day. And so I think that says a lot for who Spread Love and Spoken Word is. That is beautiful. And the longevity. No, we have, you said, talk about this 10-year hiatus. But even looking at the anniversary, the virtual tour that you all did, was that in February? There was no love lost. It didn't seem like there was a lapse in community. So within Spreading Love and Spoken Word, what does community look like? We never disconnected. We never disconnected. Throughout the entire time, I mean, from day one, so that even when I was out of town for 6 years, right? I was at Temple. We never disconnected. We kept in close contact, whether that be telephone calls, emails, presents in the mail, just little things, but we maintained our unity within this community. And so it was easier for us to just continue what we were doing, and then this virtual space kind of opened it up for us to share, not just on Wednesday nights at Magic Johnson Starbucks and Ladera Center from 7 p.m. to 9, 10, 11 p.m., whenever we got out of there, but it allows us to actually share and spread, this love and spoken words with other venues in other cities and states. We will be sharing our venue with some international spots, and that because we're in this virtual space, we're able to do that. So
I
really,
think,
go ahead, Missy.
I think what I want to add to that, I think that's something very key to understanding community and spreading love and spoken word, something you touched on when you said it doesn't seem like any time has passed, like we've just kind of picked up where we left off. And I think that is that's something that is at the heart of community and relationships and love, in that we're not trying to hold people, to a certain time and space. Sometimes things happen and people feel like they just have to stay and keep doing a certain thing and not go off and go do your own thing.
Right.
And I think that's important to understanding us, and then also the way that we are with each other as a team who puts this on, and also how we are with our supporters, both artists and audience members. It's like you have to nurture those relationships in a certain kind of way so that you can go back,
Right.
right? Like there's, you know, you see people coming and going and off to the side when you're, you know, just taking a seat on the bench at the park. You know what I'm saying? I think that's something very key to understanding who we are. Like we very much care about those relationships, how we are with people, and also encouraging people to go do what you need to do. Go live your life. Go out. Go out. We love you. We are excited by your work. We are excited by your support of what we're doing. But hey, let's all go out and live life. And if we're fortunate, we'll have this chance to come back around and see each other on the other side.
Mhm.
I think another part of that too is when it was Maya Angelou who said, people may not remember what you said, but they'll remember how you made them feel.
Mm,
And I
okay.
think spreading love in spoken words was one of those feel good venues, because anywhere we go now, whether it's, you know, I don't care where the venue is, anywhere we go, people remember that venue and they remember how it made them feel. We got a lot of feedback, and I had no idea that we even did. I mean, we were just trying to, you know, host a venue every week, right? We were hosting a venue, but people kept coming back because of how being in that space made them feel. We were actually we were actually promoting love above everything else. We were promoting love, and we were using our art as the medium to do it. So I think people remember that, how we made them feel, or how the venue made them feel, and they wanted it then, and they remember that, and so they're on board now.
That's beautiful. So, as spoken word artists, how does spreading love, or what does spreading love look like?
Oh, we were just talking about this. um, you know, no artist wants to be censored or to support censorship. No artist wants to do that. Not a Western artist or an American artist at that.
Mhm.
But I think that being African centered and being community focused for us, we've looked at our words and the meaning and the power of them, and we've tried to work with that knowledge. So that means if we're going to be spreading love with spoken word, then okay, what are we talking about? How are we saying what we're talking about? It's not that we don't talk about things, but like, how are we talking about it? And what is the intention of talking about it? What is the intention of the way that we're talking about it? I think that's something I think about a lot as a spoken word artist who is part of this group.
I agree. I agree. And spreading love is not always something that's fluffy and bright and pretty and light. We can spread the love and tell the truth also,
Oh yeah.
because love comes in correction too. So,
Right.
you know, if something is not right, then we have a right, and basically we have a responsibility to speak on that. And as Muse was saying, how do we speak on that? You know,
Mhm.
how do we make that correction? You know, how do we offer our our support, but our disapproval of certain actions? And we seem to have found that balance. At least I hope we have. And like Sandra said, when we had our recent reunion, almost everybody, if not everybody, remembers that this was a space where they felt safe. This was a space where they felt accepted.
Mhm.
And so even in our correction, there was still this same, you know, feeling of, okay, they're correcting us out of love. They're not correcting us for popularity, you know, or to have so and so, you know, look up to this, you know, as if, I don't know, it's somehow made us or made the artist better or worse, right? I just got completely off track because I'm trying to read the chat and talk to you all. But it was
That's Dr. TJ's reading the chat. Stay out of the
okay. I'm
chat
gonna
and
let
stay in
you
the
read that.
interview.
I'm gonna try
Oh
to
my
stay on the chat.
God.
Don't worry about the chat. I got you. Don't worry. I got you.
I just got completely off track. But yeah, so it was this space where we didn't mind. And here's a classic example of that. So we had this idea that any message can be given. The language you kind of want to watch. And so because we were a family friendly venue, we watched a lot of the profanity, we watched a lot of the vulgarity. And it got to the point after the first few years where our audience would expect that. You know, you can talk about love, you can talk about lust. There are a lot of things that you can talk about, but how are you going to present this to this audience that we have and artists that we have who are 2-year-olds? Who are grandparents, you know, how do we make them feel comfortable in the same space? And our audience would say, language, they would have to warn. So yeah, it was just the space of love with that correction, though. You had to come correct.
Yeah. And I think to piggyback on what Alice was saying, we also did the Black Love celebration where we started with love poetry to the women and then moved to Leimert Park. And well, the women did love poetry to the men. Then we moved to Leimert Park and the men did love poetry to the women. And then at the end of the night, we walked around the park with a partner. It didn't matter who your partner was, but as a confirmation and to hold you accountable of what you were going to do during the year until the next Black Love celebration to promote Black love. We also had Kids Night, where one night it was just about the kids, hosted by my daughter, Cameron, KLJ Collage, that's her poetry name. But we tried to facilitate all types of opportunities. Now, there was never a time that children weren't able to perform. If they expressed an interest, of course, we want you to do that. But we had a specific night set aside for them. It was always about love, but everything we did, we wanted to be honest, open, and about love naturally.
That's beautiful. Well, I'm going to open the floor and give you all a chance to share some love. If you
I've
have
got something queued up. It's called Two Poems in One, and it is my tribute to Leimert Park and Richard Bolton. Hot roads, black bodies, some not. Thoughts rise like incense smoke, moving, swaying, touching, painted white clouds and permanent blue skies. High in spirit, some on something else. Pews in a position out of sight, replaced by the fold of seating of bone slapping, chess playing, men and women. Folks follow other folks upstairs where some third eyes open for the first time, musing on why a Zulu would love scraps or just how high we could all fly if everyone knew there is art in us all. Poets rhyme, some don't. Beats are drummed in hearts and on congos. Revolution flows like Earl Grey and midnight colored caffeine between and on her lips and his. Kisses on the cheek are common, along with I love you hugs and I've missed you pats on the back. The names, not Jack, it's Richard. As in Fulton's full on jazz, as in Dick Dunn moved from 5th Street to 43rd. I heard him laugh a lot, saw him do magic with his eyes, even when that cat's cancer came to visit. His exhibit remains exquisite enough to earn every 18 to 80-year young's expectation of immortality. Because you see, love's energy was is, and will always live on with the music turned all the way up. That's that piece.
Yes.
Beautiful. Thank you. Thank you. Got chills just feeling the love.
And thanks.
So as we are moving, Dr. Alice, you know I'm coming for you for a spoken word piece. You know that, right?
She knows it's her too, because me and Sandra already went.
One of the things, one common thread that has been throughout this whole conversation is African-centered and community. And if you all could just speak on that a little bit, we're named Natural Week Community. And as you guys were talking about creating this space of community, even with the Black Love events, how it's not isolating one from another, but this intergenerational experience that speaks to our culture. If you all could just talk about that a little bit.
Well, Sandra was telling you we did have the annual kids night, and it was all kids. The host was Cameron, although they were, our mic was open to them any Wednesday that we were there. But we also had annual moms on the mic. And so at one point, we were all blessed to have our moms here. And so, my mother, of course, Mama Nick, there's Mother Muse, Sandra's mother. Sandra's name is SLC, right? Sandra Lorraine Coleman. So we call her Silk. Well, I name people that I love, right, Professor Little Bit?
Yes.
Right.
I was waiting for it. I was like, I hope she calls me Professor Little Bit today.
Professor Little Bit. I name people that I love. And so Sandra is the bestie. And so her mom is a second mom to me. MLC are her initials, so I call her Milk. And so, over the years, it's become this thing. It's so natural to me. Whereas, other friends of Sandra or her siblings may say, Mrs. Coleman, I'm like Milk, and I'll say it anywhere, not realizing what, people are, yes, that is my Milk. And so we always wanted to be open because we learn from the children as well as the elders, especially how to make it through this life. And so those elders that were in our village, when my mom in particular passed, helped me to remember to breathe, to kind of make it through the rest of it. And this is a connection that's a real life thing. It's not just a poetry venue. Yeah.
Absolutely.
Yeah. Intergenerationality is something that's really important to me, in addition to working on spreading love in spoken words, which had that as a characteristic of our venue. I've been drawn to other events that were offering that because I think it's important. I think it's important that families have spaces where they can go as a whole,
right,
and have a shared experience. And if I want to bring it, to the Black community, that's key. That's so super key to have things that are reflective of us be enjoyed by as many of us as we can, and to have people, who have come as families to our venue and leave in their cars and to go back home and to have those shared memories. That's something very important that I hold dear, and want to see continue happen. We need way more things that are intentional and created for our families to attend. We need way much more of those types of things.
right. And I would say that it goes back to that old African proverb: I am because we are
There it
because I
is.
am. And that's it in a nutshell. I mean, we've always strived for being our authentic selves, being organic. And when Alice came up with the phrase safe, strong, and free, we're like, oh, nailed it. That's it, right? And so if we have to attach something to it, it would definitely be that. And I remember when we first started this venue, and sometimes it was very difficult. It wasn't always easy to, because this was a weekly venue. And so trying to get there every week, signing people up, game face on, and sometimes we were really going through it. But at the end of the day, we could always count on that being a safe and healing space for not just the audience, but for us as well. And one of the reasons why I think Spreading Love and Spoken Words was so successful is because we didn't try to control it. It was a life, it had breath, and we let it do what it needed to do for the time that it needed to do it without us saying no, go this way, go this way. We let Spreading Love and Spoken Word tell us what it needed to do to be the entity that it needed to be.
Yes, and that community, I'm remembering how people produced when they were at Spreading Love and Spoken Word. They were just inspired or motivated to produce, but even the children were producing. So Sandra's daughter wrote her first book. She was like 7 years old, right? And sold her book at Spreading Love and Spoken Words and said, I'm selling this book for my college fund. Mm-hmm. And when Cameron graduated from high school, guess what she did? She took that college fund and she went to college. So it was this place where we didn't just inspire growth. Growth kind of inspired us. There was just something about the energy in that space that made people want to produce. And, adults wrote books while they were sitting there on Wednesdays. They'd be inspired by something and start writing, and here's another book. How wonderful was that?
Right.
We have
Spreading love.
Spreading love. We have a question in the chat. Love the comb logo. Is that an Adinkwa symbol? Oh, so this is Naturally's logo. And it's actually the combination of two Adinkwa symbols. The first one is the Bese Saka, which stands for affluence, abundance, and unity. And then the comb that you see is the Dwafe, which is a symbol of beauty, hygiene, feminine qualities. And so combined, it's the Natural We community logo. So thank you for that question. We really love our logo. Shout out to Will of Deity Apparel for making our shirts, which are for sale. If I can just put my shameless.
That's right.
Real
That's
quick.
right.
Yeah. Absolutely. Because we might need a hookup to him.
Oh, you ain't said nothing but a word. I'll tag him right now.
All right. Okay.
But this is also what comes from we titled today Nomo, right? Spreading love and this understanding of the power of words. And so I love how you just used Cami as I'm sorry, I can't remember her stage name at the moment. She's Cami. Collage. But the power of words and what are we using the words for? And I'm reminded when I don't know if I ever told you this, Alice and Sandra, but I'm actually not the biggest fan of spoken word all the time. Like sometimes I'm like, I have to go and do it. But being in your space and seeing how the words have moved people and how necessary it is to really speak truth to power. And speaking truth to power and love, I think, is just so dynamic and so important. And so with that, Miss Dr. Alice, I would just ask if you could share a piece at this time.
Yes. So I'm in the process of working on an article, because that's the life, right? But I'm looking at something that Malcolm X said when he talked about how or who the most disrespected, unprotected person in America was, and how we're sharing that quote, but we don't share another quote from the same speech, where he's like, get off of our women. His words were, we will kill you for our women. And he said, I'll make it plain. And so we have to remember that in these relationships, moving forward, that we have each other's backs, and so we may not agree with actions or with sayings or with some of the decisions that and when I mean we, I mean Black folk, so because we're not monolithic, so we're not going to always agree with each other, but the foundation of it all is Black love. And so this is Reflections of an Africologist. It's the 9th volume in the 10 Million Stories series that I started in 1999. And so this volume came out this summer. And it just has a couple of years of reflection. So this is 2020, week number 6 reflection, and it's called Complicated Black Love. My love, let our conflict become conversation, created in unity and focused on healing and reconciliation and love, and yes, accountability in love. My love, our love, though complicated, could be pure and should be sure and pleasing to our ancestors, for whom our love would be divine. My love, we are sacred, connected, created for each other, continual, my love. Remember, reminder, back in to the beginning, where it was just us. Just us. Look at us, my love. Our division conquers us.
Wow.
In other words, in love,
Right.
get it together and remember who we are. Remember what we owe to each other if we want to be here tomorrow.
Right.
And imagine how different society would be if they knew right off the bat that there is this unbreakable union between Black men and Black women.
That part.
Imagine how Black women would be approached in society. We can do it. We have done it.
I'm going to add our children into
And our
that.
children, yes. I
Yes.
agree. I
Yes.
agree.
How would people step to our children if they knew that they were
They got backup,
supremely
like my mother said, right? Baby got
yeah, I'm
backup.
remembering that. Yeah.
Mhm.
Absolutely.
Mhm.
Absolutely.
When we look at examples of, you all know that I'm always with somebody's kid. And one time I was watching a kid, I don't even remember who it was anymore, like playing at the park, right? So I sat down, let him be by himself a little bit. And the next thing I knew, I heard, you're not going to do anything to me because my Auntie T is here. And I was just like, I was like, what? But when in the context of this conversation, what does it look like when our children know, or when we know that we are protected, right? There are many things that I did as a teenager that I probably would not have done, but I'm not gonna say what I did, but I probably wouldn't have done it if I didn't. I always, in the back of my mind, I always knew there was Pastor Jack and there was my daddy and there was my grandpa. So there is nothing no one can do to me, right? Or even now, sometimes I'm like, my brothers are only one phone call away. And so when we think about this in terms of spoken word, what happens to the atmosphere? What happens to our environment when we continue to speak that we are protected, when we continue to speak that we are accountable, when we continue to speak that we are loved and that we are unified? And so how often do we need to continue to say it to change the atmosphere so that the actions will follow it to fully realize that and manifest it. And when I learned that, and when I learned the power of Nomo, right? The power of our agency in literally speaking words and not just a whisper all the time. That was when my love and appreciation for spoken words grew.
I would have to say, and I'll have to use my daughter as an example because she's the example that I have. When she was young and I didn't have a babysitter, I had to drag her to poetry venues where my friends were her guardians, other poets. Like when she fell asleep in my lap, poets would carry her to the car for me, so I could get her home safely. But being in that environment and listening to people and understanding who she was as a child in that environment, I remember one of our friends, Mikael, he would order coffee for himself and he would order tea for her, and they would sit there and have conversations. She remembers that. She remembers Dr. Alice, the poet Nicholas, tutoring her. She remembers Alice's poems. She remembers Misty Muse and her poems and being in that environment and constantly being fed, right? So that when she graduated from high school and went to college on a full basketball scholarship, she had a greater understanding of herself than she would have had she not been in that environment. And I often give the poetry community credit for helping in the raising of her because she was around them so much and she learned so much from them. We are still I say we, her and I are still living off of some of the advice that we got during that time, some of the connections that we made. She's able to walk in the knowing of who she is and where her power lies. And I can only, and I've said this over and over again, I'm so grateful that that village helped me raise my child.
I'd like to add on to that with something I saw today. It said, "You can't compete with me. I want you to win too."
Hmm.
And in the space of this conversation where we're talking about what does that look like as community, if we're talking about spoken word and speaking truth to power, there's something very unifying about that, to understand that we're all here to contribute to the win.
Mhm.
Hmm.
And the win is to be in a space where we're not gaslighted, where
Right.
we are affirming truth with our own words and the agency that we have to call what it is, whether it's something that exists or something that we imagine for ourselves, something that we claim for ourselves, something that we remember about ourselves.
Right.
Um, I think that is what I'd like to contribute to that, to your question, Dr. TJ. What does it look like? I think it looks like
Mhm.
that, the
It looks
collective
like
win.
us, it looks like us around mm, 3 o'clock, 4 o'clock in the morning, standing in a circle in the parking lot at Cafe Future, envisioning a, a Spread Love and Spoken Words CD project with no money. Let me let you know that we know the other side of money. With no money, we had big dreams, but there is power in those words, not just in the words though. And it went further than a belief, it went to a knowing. We
Yeah.
know that this is going to, in that circle, there's a power in the circle, and we all know about that, right? So
Mhm.
we, in that circle, we spoke into existence a Spread Love and Spoken Word CD. We called it Volume 1 because we opened
The
the
door.
possibility of more to come. And we worked with a multiple platinum award winning producer that even if we had put our money together, we couldn't afford. And so it's just, let's be honest, right? But it's just the power of that word and the agency of the self-agency. We have the audacity to dream this dream. And even further, we allow the universe to make a way for it to happen.
Yep. And we didn't take no for an answer.
We never took no for an answer.
Never took no for an answer. Well, you said we can't do it. Well, we're going to figure out how we can, because that same energy, when we had the launch party for that CD and we had our decorations, we were missing some stuff. Did we not speak what we needed and found it in that space?
Everything from raffia to black fabric.
Yep.
And there's an ancestor in that place.
Yep.
Fifth Street Dix.
Yep.
And whenever we would speak something, as we were getting everything together for this launch party, oh, I need some black fabric to cover these tables so they can be, there's a phone, a pay phone in the front of Fifth Street Dix. And it would ring. And there was nobody in Fifth Street Dix but Sandra and I. Richard Fulton had passed a couple of years before that. And so the first time it happened, you know, we kind of looked at each other like, that phone is ringing. And then going to get the phone, there's the black fabric. And then we wanted to do something with raffia and we ran out of raffia. Oh, we need some raffia. The phone rings again. And going towards the stairs, we see over to the side a bag, and in that bag was raffia.
Yep.
So it becomes more than, I don't even know what to, it's not magic because we take it for granted. Oh, that's just Richard. Thank you, Richard.
Right.
You know,
right.
But that's exactly what it was. It was the power in those words. And because of the energy that he built Fifth Street Dix on, we knew that it was him working with us.
Yeah, we felt it.
Right. And there's something to be said when you know that you know that you know that God is with you, that spirit is with you, the ancestors are with you. And when you live and walk in that know, and the you don't hold your head down when you know, because you also know who you are. And I think I say this just about every week, but when you know that God breathed life into you,
Right.
and so then you know that the people that you are working with, God breathed life into Sandra, God breathed life into Alice, God breathed life into Muse, and know that collectively you have this divine right to live out loud, unapologetically, in the fullness of who you are. And when you are walking in that, and how God, spirit, and ancestors come through each and every single time. You know, we are still here because of love. Right? We're here because of the love of God and the love of our ancestors, who not only just paved the way, they didn't just pave the way, but they lived the way. They prayed through the way. They fought through the way. We are no longer saying that we are not our ancestors. We're not doing that disrespect.
Oh, no, we are not.
We are not.
Our ancestors, because our ancestors prayed, our ancestors fought, our ancestors lived and breathed and continued on this path to make the world a better place, that we might be here, that our elders might be here, that our parents might be here, and that we will be here, and that we continue to live and speak the life that we see, not only for ourselves, but for one another and for all of the generations behind us. And so I just love. Right.
Yes.
Being able to express that love in the spoken word. I'm gonna just pause and see if anyone has another spoken word piece.
I think you about to write your first one.
Yeah. I agree.
Maybe not during this interview, but yeah, you are all
soon. Yes. I don't have a piece, but I do have a thought, and I agree with you 100%. It always irks me when I see or hear someone saying that I am not my ancestors. Let me let everybody know clearly, I am my
Me
ancestors.
too.
I'm the culmination of all the way back.
Yep.
Mm.
And if you have, what was that Marcus Garvey was saying, a people without knowledge of their past is like a tree without roots. So you're going to uproot yourself by telling I feel sorry for everybody that says that. I am 100% my ancestors, from my hair to my eyes to my baby toe. I
Absolutely.
am that mitochondria. I'm the first mother. I still carry her with me. Every living human being does. And so when I hear that, it really, I feel sorry for people that say that, but it's also dangerous, because where did that idea come from? Or
Right.
better yet, who did that idea come from?
That
And
part.
what system does it support? What system does it uphold? It certainly does not uphold an African-centered system if you're not your ancestors. So who are you supporting with, you know? Okay, I'm gonna get back down off my
Well,
soapbox and
I think
sip some
it's
water.
important, right? I think it's important in this conversation. We are talking about a community. So spread in love and spoken words. It's not just the name of your stage, but
No.
it is a living, breathing community.
Mhm.
Natural We community is a community. And so when we talk about that community, who are we including in the community? When we talk about love, who are we really loving? And if we are not exerting love for our full selves and love in the community, and even those who have transitioned and gone before us, i.e., our ancestors, then what does that do to the fullness of our community? And how are we to also continue to move forward? And so I think it's important that we acknowledge that, and that we, as you said, in love, we correct and account and hold accountable, because at the end of the day, it is to move forward
Yes.
in love.
Absolutely. And I have something that I would like to share that I wrote for my birthday, if that's okay.
It's all on you.
Here's to nonconformity, embracing the Africa in me, accepting all my fluff, flaws, imperfections. Here's to tremendous dreaming, living limitlessly, loving every wrinkle and fold for all the stories they hold. Here's to sagacity, Black woman magic, navigating this world with intention. Here's to long walks, lingering kisses, a heart overflowing with love. Here's to surviving pandemics, masks that match my mood, Zoom calls with friends and family. Here's to fearlessness, flawlessness sometimes, being fabulous at 59. I was trying to capture just like everything we had been through as a people through the last year, and myself through the last year, but not letting it get me to the point where I was going to stop living, stop loving, stop learning, growing, being, doing. And to bring back spreading love and spoken word in this time, in this moment, was such a blessing and a gift that we want to share with the world. But I'm finding it more for myself, that it is doing for me what, and I'm not saying this against anybody, but all the psychology, all the money, all those things couldn't do. This is such a healing, uplifting, loving, embracing environment. And I think that because we are who we are, doing what we love, it's easy. This is easy.
Yeah.
And I love y'all. I do. When
We
I
love
got
you
the
too.
vision to do spreading love and spoken word, the people that are the team are the people that popped in my head. I was obedient to the spirit and I asked them, And when I went into Starbucks and I asked about hosting a venue there, and she said yes, when can you start? I said, when can we start? She said, how about next Wednesday? And I looked at the calendar. I'm like, oh my God, that's February the 14th. So I called everybody and said, what are you guys doing on February the 14th? You got plans? Change them. We doing a show. And that was how we started. I told everybody to change their Valentine's Day plans with whoever. If you got somebody, bring them. We got a show to do. And the rest is history. And here we are 21 years later being interviewed by Natural We Community. Like,
Yes.
how awesome is that, right?
How awesome is that?
Yeah.
We have a couple comments in the chat. I forgot to check the chat. I'm
trying not to get distracted. I'm not going to look at the chat.
Loving the conversation. Brother Tavangra, Brother T, a professor at Cal State LA, Pan-African Studies Department, Mr. Pan-Africanism. I just love him, Brother T. Said he's loving the energy. And the quote that you shared, Muse, you can't compete with me. I want you to win too. He said, I love this. And Brother T, we love you. You know, we are thankful for you and thank you for your comments. Rosa Bryant said, how amazing. And this has been amazing. This is
okay, really quick. Rosa Bryant is my auntie that I found through Silk Sacred Gems. I made some jewelry. She purchased it. My uncle got the package and we reconnected after, I think my dad's been dead 30 years.
wow.
Right. And support like constantly, like she's sitting at home watching, like support is off the chain from my family.
That is amazing. That is beautiful. Well, Auntie Rosa, hello. Thank you. And Sandra mentioned Sacred Gems. So I'm just going to put in a plug. These beautiful earrings are handmade by Sandra. I'm just going to say she has her Sacred Gems, her jewelry. You have seen her at Natural Wheat events. And so we will always continue to support our Black-owned businesses. So I'm just going to put that in there.
Yeah, thanks.
Thank you for the support. You and your mom. Your mom has a wall dedicated to my jewelry. I thought that was just awesome. You see, I posted it.
Let me tell you about this wall. I went to visit my mom, Pastor Jack, and my family for Resurrection Sunday, and I could barely get through the door right after service, and Pastor was like, T, I got a wall, you're gonna love this. She's like, come on. So she takes me to her room and she's like, and look, it has all of the jewelry that I got from Sandra. I just love her. And so it was just so great to see. I said, oh, I gotta send a picture to her. So as soon as I mentioned picture, Pastor Jack was like, okay, well, wait, hold on, let me arrange it and make sure it's good. It was so great. But yes, we absolutely love your jewelry. I have to snooze your page about twice a week, posting things that I really like. Just, you know.
Well, thank you for all the years of love and support, you and your mom, because you guys have been consistent. If you haven't been anything else, you've been consistent. And sometimes your mom will call me and it's like, let me just give you my information over the phone and I want that piece. I'm like, yes, ma'am.
I love it.
Mhm.
Absolutely love it. And oh, it's already 7:01. We just listen, I'm loving this.
Wow.
But really, I just want to say that being on here with you all is so amazing. Muse, I haven't known you long. I think we met a few months ago. But already, hold you near and dear to my heart. But I'm gonna take a moment and just say some Toro love.
Yes.
With Dr. Alice and Sandra. They have known me since I started being a professor, but it has just been great. And actually, Dr. Alice and I took a class together, a literature class together, and she's one of the ones who told me that I was going to write a whole lot. And I just looked at her.
I second that. I second that.
Second that. I receive it. I accept. But it has been great talking about consistency. It has just been great knowing you all for these however many years in our journey, not only academically but community wise. You guys were here when Natural We started. You know, Dr. Alice, you were at Temple writing your life away with a thing called a dissertation. But periodically you would always just check in and see how Natural We is going and like all of the statuses and everything.
Mhm.
Sandra has been to just about every single no, every in-person
Yeah.
event. Get ready for a virtual event, just to let you know.
I'm
um
ready.
Good. June 5th.
Okay. Put that in
So
my calendar.
I mean, I just think that it would be great to have a spreading love and spoken word, couple poems for a virtual hair show. I'm just gonna put it out there real quick to record on June 5th. I think it would just be really, really great.
Ooh.
But as I say that, do you all have any upcoming events?
I have a few. Dominguez Hills has the It Takes a Village gathering. And
Mhm.
so their next one is going to be at the end of the month. I think it's going to be on the 28th. And so myself and a couple of professors are presenting some of our works, art as activism, and along with the students. And then in addition to teaching at Dominguez Hills, I'm just so tied to that university. I don't know what it is. Um, I do know what it is. It's the energy around there. It's the progressive energy. It's the fact that Dr. Farusa walked those halls, and it's all of that together. But also, in addition to teaching there and at Fullerton, I run these anti-racism workshops. Anti-Black racism in particular, because it's a lot more unique than your regular everyday racism, right? And history of reparations workshops and things like that. So it's all about learning as much as I can and sharing that. But it's all because I am an Africologist. It's all with the aim of liberation. It's all for Black liberation, all the education, all the spirit work. It's all for Black liberation.
Absolutely. And then we have an event coming up on April the 28th. If
Oh,
you
that's our
go
event.
to,
That's right.
yeah, if you go to our Spread Love and Spoken Words page, we have a page and all the information is there. And we'll be doing a monthly spoken word event again, where the community can come and occupy the space that is safe, strong, and free.
With Here and Now African Diaspora Trivia, we're going to be hosting a virtual trivia contest coming up in May and June. Information about that will be posted on our website, diasporatrivia.com.
Can you say the website one more time?
I sure can. Trivia.com.
Okay, so I have put the website as well as the Spreading Love and Spoken Word page in the comments section for anyone who would like to follow them and keep up and absolutely support. And always please let Natural We know how we can continue to support. Um, I am going to do a couple of announcements. After the announcement, I'm going to check in and see if any of you all have a last spoken word piece, and then we will go. So our announcements are: our next community hour of power guest is Dr. Vincent Player, who is a adjunct faculty of CSUDH, College of Business Administration and Public Policy, and he's also currently the Regional Director of the Western Region at U.S. Department of Justice Community Relationships Service. So we are very excited for that. That is next Thursday, April 15th at 6 p.m. here on Facebook Live. This coming Saturday, April 10th, from 11 to 1, Naturally Community, in partnership with New Providence Baptist Church, will have a food bank and community feeding. So not only will we have the groceries that we make available, but we will also be serving lunch for the communities. I believe we're having spaghetti and string beans dinner plate this upcoming Saturday at 10200 South Normandy Avenue. This week has been spring break for Zoom tutoring, but we are back on track starting on Monday with African storytelling. So we are very, very excited for that. As always, feel free to email us at naturalweedcommunity@gmail.com. You can also text or call us at 424-285-3443. And I believe that is all of the announcements. So with that, spreading love and spoken word, do you all have any final pieces that you want to share?
Muse.
This one is called Amen. I love being Black, but I don't love that or anything more than I love God. He made me all that I am. My Blackness is but a creative stroke of his omnipotent genius. This hair, these eyes, this nose, and these lips are all his and belong to him. My courage, my strength, my independence are all from and inspired by him. He gives me my love of freedom. He gives me my love of truth. He gives me desire to do all things, even writing these words for you. I don't want there to be confusion. I don't believe in sparing the rod. I do readily trade in feelings of Black pride because I'm Black by the grace of God.
Yes,
Amen.
right.
Yes.
Hey.
David Walker said that we don't want to be anything other than what our Creator made us to be. Let's
Exactly.
celebrate our Blackness.
Absolutely.
And she
Yeah.
said it all.
Yes, she did. Yes, she
You
did.
said it all. So thank you everyone for watching Naturally Community Hour of Power with Spreading Love and Spoken Words. We are so thankful that you all have joined us, and we are just excited to continue to be who we are. We are excited to continue to empower, heal, and liberate ourselves. And so with that, if you don't get anything else from tonight, let it be that you walk in love, you walk in power, you walk in truth, you walk in community, and you liberate and heal yourself and all around you. Take care
Yes.
and good night.
Good night.
Good night.